How's it going, everybody? It is AHappyIceBear Gaming here. Today I'll be talking about Sleeper Simulent, one of the new exotic weapons that you can get from completing the exotic quest in Warmind. It's very simple. All you have to do is complete the Warmind expansion itself, go through all the missions, talk to Anna Bright. She'll give you like an unknown anomaly or an unknown signal. You follow that to the very end, and then you'll get the Nascent Dawn and the Sleeper quest all at the same time. And you can see it by this image here of the Sleeper Simulant as a blueprint. So either way, we're going to be talking about Sleeper Simulant today. Sleeper Simulant was originally released back in Destiny 1 in the Taken King expansion as an exotic quest where you had to pick up 4 purple fusion rifles in the forms of triangles off enemies that you can find randomly throughout the worlds in all planets from just killing random enemies. And then eventually, after the time gate was up, we were able to start working on the fusion rifle itself, known as Sleeper Simulant. Now, compared to D1 and D2 Sleeper, there's not really much of a difference. They still have about the same charge time. They still feel like they do about the same damage. Just Destiny 1's damage was a little bit over exemplified and more numbers, but now they kind of cut back the amount of precision damage I guess you do on enemies now. I don't really know for sure, but it just feels that way now. But it's still a very, very good weapon. Some of the perks on the weapon is, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name, but it pretty much makes it to where it looks like a laser light show is what I'm going to call it, because I am not even going to try and pronounce that, where the laser overpenetrates enemies and refracts off hard surfaces. Now, back in Destiny 1, the laser was a single laser beam that would shoot out, and whenever it hit a surface, it would refract and bounce all over the place, causing multiple hits. So if there was enemies in that general vicinity, sometimes it would hit them, sometimes it wouldn't. It really all depends on where the laser would follow through and hit. But now in Destiny 2, the laser refracts into 3 laser beams, so if you were to aim it at the ground and shoot it at just the right angle, if there was a horde of enemies coming at you like Thrall or Knights or whatever, you can easily refract it and have 3 laser beams bounce up and hit them right all in the face or chest, and it'll pretty much annihilate them if they're just normal red bars. The next perk on the gun is polygonal rifling. The barrel is optimized for recoil reduction and increased stability. Now, the weapon is really just an overcharged one-shot kind of thing, so there's not really a whole lot of recoil on the weapon itself. Sure, you have to compensate for it just a tiny bit, but the charge time and how much it has time to be able to settle back down before you can fire off another shot, there ain't really that much of a recoil issue with the weapon overall. The next perk that you have on the gun is Flared Magwell. Optimized for fast reloading, slightly increased stability, and greatly increased reload speed. The reload on itself is already really good. It feels nice and smooth. Now, there isn't anything that you can do to complement the reload besides maybe putting on a mod or something for maybe your arms or your cloak or something that will speed up reload speed, or whenever you have it stowed away, maybe you can have like a mod on it to where it will reload the weapon automatically whenever it's stowed away. But overall, the reload itself isn't too bad, and if you can just, as soon as the reload is done, like as soon as he puts it back into the weapon, you can run forward and you can get ready to fire again. So this perk isn't really all that bad on the weapon. The next perk on the weapon is Moving Target. Increases movement speed and target acquisition when moving when aiming down sights. Now, this perk is kind of really. It's better to have a better target acquisition where it has more aim assist on the weapon, because since the weapon charges so slow and you're going to be trying to move back and forth with the weapon to try and stop yourself from getting hit so much, this perk is actually really good on it. But I'm not going to argue against it. It's really good on the weapon as is. So this perk is really good because, one, it has a really large charge time on it, where it takes roughly about 3.5 seconds to actually charge up and fire. So with this, you can move around a little bit more easier and try and avoid that extra hit or two until the weapon actually fully charges up. The next perk on this weapon is Compose Stock. This weapon has versatile dual purpose stock, slightly increased stability, and slightly increased handling speed. Now, overall, The stability on the weapon is already really good since it has the long recharge time, and it takes about 3 to 5 seconds before you can fire off a round, and it takes a minute for it to, or it takes like another second or two before you can fire again. So it has plenty of time to settle back down in the original spot. So overall, the perks on the weapons are really, really good, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit now. But the catalyst, I don't know when it'll be coming out for the weapon. Who knows when? It could be coming out sometime in July or sometime later this month. I don't know for sure, but the charge time with the catalyst, the catalyst itself is supposed to reduce the amount of charge time by, I think, half. So if it takes roughly about 3.5 seconds ish in that sort of frame, it should drop it to about maybe 2.5, 1.5 seconds before it charges and fires. I'm not sure yet per se. We'll see what happens whenever the catalyst comes out for the weapon, but I'm really excited to have the weapon be able to fire a little bit faster, and some exotic wares, which I'll talk about here later in the video, will come very, very in handy with using this weapon, and it may be one of the most top tier weapons whenever you get that catalyst and rock some of these exotic wares. That will definitely benefit the weapon in the long run. The weapon itself is amazing for PvE activities. It's great for killing bosses or really just hitting the shit out of them, or it's really, really good for killing majors, which is mostly the orange bar enemies that you would generally get, heavy ammo drops off of whenever killing them, and mostly for yellow bars as well. It is mostly great for endgame activities, so the Nightfall, Heroic Strikes, Escalation Protocol, Public Events / Heroic Public Events, and the raid itself. It is just amazing in all those activities that you're always going to want to try and save a slot for this. It's up there with Darcy, and it's up there with Wardcliff Coil. Wardcliff Coil has kind of fallen from grace a little bit since this weapon was kind of introduced, and since Darcy kind of got a really good buff where the target acquisition thing, whenever you actually lock on a target, it does exponentially more damage. So Wardcliff kind of fell from grace, and it's kind of been taken up by this weapon and Darcy itself. But overall, this weapon is mostly built for PvE activities. And it's especially great whenever you're running, like if you have to do your milestones or whatever, and you have your heroic strike, which this week was Solar Singe, and if you would have gotten heavyweight, this thing would hit like a truck then at that point. Especially if you put on some of these exotic wares, which I'll be talking about here in just a moment. As far as exotic wares go, there isn't anything out there for the hunters yet. But as far as the Titans and Warlocks go, to overall increase your DPS, you're going to want to wear the Lunafaction boots with alchemicals, etchings. Your rifts gain an additional ability to automatically reload you and your allies' weapons. Empowering Rift allows your weapons to be more effective at longer ranges. I don't know as far as the Empowering Rift goes with Sleeper, but I definitely know probably increase the fall off damage for the Sleeper in the long run, so if you want to run that you can. Plus, as far as Empowering Rift goes, well, you're getting more damage with your Sleeper, so it's a win-win. As far as the Titan exotic wares go, I don't know exactly what it is yet because I haven't used my Titan all that much on the PS4 version itself. I do use it on PC, but I haven't seen what exotic wares it is. It's for the Rally Barricade where you can crouch down and aim again. It'll refund ammo to the magazine. Please let me know in the comments below, or if you know what I'm talking about, you can use that with your Titan as well to get more DPS out of your Sleeper Simulant. The only bad things are from Destiny 1 and Destiny 2's version is there's one less shot in the magazine. Back in Destiny 1 you had 3 rounds and 6 in your magazine, and it would equal all the way up to 9 rounds that you can fire off. Now, in this one, you only get 2 rounds in a magazine and can only hold 6 in your reserve, equaling 8 rounds that you can fire off total. Which ain't a bad thing, especially with the Catalyst eventually going to be coming out, who knows when. It would make it to where it's kind of like complementing it to where you can't fire it nearly as quick. And yeah, so whenever the Catalyst comes out, this will complement it in that sort of way. especially with the exotic wares. The only other thing I would not recommend using this gun for is PvP play. I will highly stress this to the point to where I will be screaming it. Do not use this weapon in PvP. Sure, it's kind of fun. It's kind of like a gag weapon to where if you aim it down enough to where you can hit it and shoot off the 3 beams, you can probably kill off a team that's running together. If you're lucky, because of how slow the charge rate is on the weapon itself. I came into encounters where I was just kind of running around to try and put myself in those positions to where I'm waiting. But half the time, they're normally right there and they're like so easily able to kill me because, one, there's a high flinch with the weapon because of how aimed down sights you are. So as soon as you're charging it up, it's just going to kick from the flinch of how hard you're being hit by it. And it's just going to screw up your shot. And even when aiming down sights and I'm trying to picture that little reticle right in the middle of it to where I'm trying to put it right on their body, sometimes it shoots right past them. Sometimes I just can't get the charge off fast enough to where I can fire and they kill me. Or it gets to the point to where it just doesn't matter. I'm going to die either way because I'm using Sleeper in PvP. In this case, you're probably better off using anything else besides Sleeper. If you're really into fusion rifles and you really love your fusion rifles, I would recommend using like Telesto or Main Ingredient. Or if anything, use Wardcliffe Coil. Wardcliffe Coil is still amazing in PvP. Or you can use Curtain Call, something that is not the Sleeper Simulent. It is not best used for Crucible play. Just plain and simple, do not pick this weapon up and try and expect yourself to really do well in Crucible with it. One, you only get 2 rounds in the magazine, and it takes about 3 seconds or 3.5 seconds, somewhere in between there, to fire off the rounds, and even then people are going to be bum rushing you with other weapons that will be able to kill you quicker. And if they're running in a group, you better kiss your sorry ass goodbye because you're not going to even be able to get that shot off. One, because of how slow the charge rate is on the weapon and how limited you are in your ammo capacity with the weapon itself. In conclusion, the weapon is really, really good. It is amazing. It's one of the top tier weapons that you could possibly be using for most endgame activities as far as the raid, escalation protocol, nightfall, heroic strikes, normal strikes. Anything that would require you to use a beefy weapon to take down a boss, this would be the first thing you would go to. If not that, your second, because Darcy would probably outbeats it a little bit in terms of DPS because it has more rounds in the magazine and it has a lot more in its reserves. But Darcy and Sleeper up there in terms of top tier weapons to really use in the raid, nightfall, whatever. It just really all depends on what the burn is or what the strike foretells and just overall what situation you're going into. As far as how I would rate it, it easily has a very, very high A. It would be an A+, but since we do not have the catalyst yet, it's still gonna be an A+ either way. What am I thinking? But if it had the catalyst, it'd be above an A+, because if that catalyst was here and we were able to charge this 10 times, like half the amount of time that it takes right now to use this weapon would be easily one of the most picked weapons, I think, as far as endgame activities go. But until we get that catalyst, it's hearsay what will happen. Who knows? Maybe Darcy might become second rate or second picked. Who knows for sure? But overall, just do not use this for Crucible. Crucible, I'll have to give it a low D to an F. One, because you only have 2 rounds in the magazine. 2, it takes 3.5 to 3 seconds to whatever time I'd calculate it was about 3 seconds, and I'm going to give it a little bit of leeway, go to about 3.5 just to be safe. So you're running around and people are going to be team shotting you. There's going to be a whole bunch of other issues you're going to have to run with this weapon in Crucible, and you're better off using some of the other weapons I mentioned, such as Curtain Call, Wardcliffe Coil, Perfect Paradox, Hawthorne's Field Scout. Any shotgun really that's really good for Crucible play. Anything is really better than using Sleeper Stimulant in Crucible. Okay? It's best used for endgame activities or having fun in patrol, just whatever. This weapon is great for only PvE play. Before I wrap things up here, I'm going to talk about the clan a little bit more. I made a video right about a week ago, maybe a little week and a half ago, that we were talking about we're looking for more people for our clan. So if you're interested in joining, whether you're on Xbox One, PC, or PS4, we're looking for members. The founder of the clan, Goon, you have seen him in a couple of my videos or maybe a couple of my streams. He's really nice, and he plays on Xbox One. I play on PS4 and PC, so if you're looking for someone on PC or PS4, let me know. All you have to do is just go into the clan page, which I'll leave the link in the description then, and just apply for the clan. If you're looking for people for a clan and you want to be a part of a family, we're always available. We're always looking for new members, and as long as you're not toxic and just overall really respectful and can have a lot of laughs with, we're always looking for those types of people, because we don't take the game very, very seriously. We like to lay back, we like having fun, we like joking around with each other, and just overall have fun with each other. That's all we really look forward to. We don't take the game very, very seriously. But either way, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to stay up to date with the channel. And as always, thank you again, and I will see you all in the next video.